Here it is again, Condor's View. Welcome to Condor's View, Conestoga College's premier news source. I'm Tom Tobias. If you're a car owner, you may be facing insurance hikes. Lori Owen has more.
Hi there, I'm Lori Owen, and I'm here with local insurance broker Tim Kovacs, and we're here to discuss the increasing auto insurance rates. So when can drivers be expecting to see the next increase in their auto insurance rates?
Well, it's really hard to say as to when they will see the rate increase because numerous insurers take different rate increases at different times. So you can't really say that as a whole everybody's going to see a certain percentage of an increase at a certain amount of time. But, different times during the year, different insurers may take a slight rate increase.
So it's been said that Ontario has some of the highest payouts in accident benefit coverage. Does this tie into the increase in auto insurance rates in any way?
It most definitely does. Being tied in with the most generous accident benefits portion or policy pretty much across North America, the loss payouts are generally a lot higher than they are in different provinces or states in the U.S.
So say an individual has a multi-insurance policy with one brokerage. If their auto insurance goes up, does that mean their house insurance would be affected as well?
No, it won't be affected. Generally, actually, the benefit to the consumer of purchasing both policies with the same insurers, they'll actually get discounts on it. If due to the rising cost of auto insurance, it won't affect their house insurance, although we are seeing higher premiums in the property side of things as well.
Just being in the insurance business, have you heard a lot of complaints from customers about the increases?
Well, most definitely. It's it's tough for everybody. Everybody pretty much who has a car has seen a rate increase in some form or another. And really when they're spending money that as to a product that they might not see unless they get into a claim situation, it's tough to actually see the tangibility of spending the money.
Now, since auto benefit payouts are causing some insurance companies to lose out on money, are a lot of high-risk drivers being turned away?
Well, a lot of high-risk drivers aren't necessarily being turned away per se, but there's definitely a market for them. It's either we have our regular markets for, more regular drivers, we'll say, and we have substandard markets for people who require that, maybe multiple convictions or accidents and so on. So when we come into a situation where a client may no longer qualify for a regular market or just in the beginning might not qualify for a regular market, then there is a market for them, a higher risk market.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tim. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
As Prime Minister Stephen Harper has prorogued Parliament until March 3rd, opposition parties and most of the public are not happy and are protesting against the decision. Babar Kelly takes a look at what Waterloo Region is up to.
A no-prorogue rally at the Waterloo Public Square. About 500 people showed up despite cold weather, holding placards and supporting their cause. Speaking on the occasion, different speakers urged Prime Minister Harper to reopen the Parliament and get back to work. They said their aim was to let the government know that the Canadian people care about their country, democracy and Parliament.
Patriotism is not simply supporting the government, but supporting the principles of government.
Prime Minister suspended the Parliament on December 30th last year for second time in less than 2 years.
I'm really disappointed in the government, the fact that they shirked their responsibilities, and they were elected on the basis of accountability. I don't think it's right.
Proroguing government to sidestep important issues like torture undermines democracy in Canada.
I want Parliament to be back at work. I want to find out more about the Afghan detainee situation.
The business of Parliament isn't getting done, so we're paying the politicians to do work and they're not doing it. That's wrong.
Similar rallies were held almost all across the country. A University of Alberta student started this whole effort with a Facebook group urging Canadians to stop Prime Minister's move. The group currently has more than 200,000 members. For Conestoga College News, I'm Babar Tairkheli.
Thanks, Babar. On a lighter note, our own Mariam Zahir takes a look at local artist Jennifer Bedford, who's featured at Kitchener City Hall.
currently the audience development coordinator for Cambridge Galleries. It's a gallery down in Cambridge, and when I have time, I make art. Well, I was fortunate enough to go to summer camp as a young child, and that's where I got my first taste of photography, and especially working in the darkroom. This series of photographs that you're seeing, or this project, is all made in the darkroom. So that experience when I was a young child definitely influenced me later on as an adult. I also studied photography at Sheridan College, and that was an intensive type of program where it was very stringent lighting, tabletop photography and product photography. It had that edge there. And then later on I went on to McMaster University and studied multimedia and fine art, and that's sort of where I'm at today. So light drawings is based on, it actually is on the premise of fun. And when I was a child, in elementary school, we had these pots of glue set on our desks in front of us, and sometimes when I wasn't paying attention, I would coat my hand or my finger with white glue and peel it off, and then sort of hold it up in the light and admire it, look at the lines and the textures that would come through. And that's where the premise of light drawings is from. They're casts of my skin, so they're not actual, it's not pieces of my skin that I'm using, it's an imprint or a replica of my skin. It's expensive to make art, but if you're really passionate about it and really want to continue, then I found the best way to do that is persevere and keep making art. Personally, I haven't had anybody like stop on the street and say, hey, stop doing what you're doing, but some people question, like, why would you work in the way that you work, or why do you work in the dark room, or what intrigues you about working with the body. So I think those are all questions, and they're all very valid questions. I want to engage the general public in a different way and have them stop and look at it and try and figure out what it is, and I think this work, it does that. It is scientific looking, and so that does arrest people when they walk through this space. They just kind of like, what is that? And they want to learn more about it. And I think as an artist, as a photographer, that's the best sort of response that you can have is having someone have an interest in what you're doing and what you're making. My dad's a photographer, and so he always had the camera around, and we would watch slide presentations. So I was really immersed in photography from an early age and seeing a camera around, and so that definitely helped inspire me in my interest in photography. Art is important. It makes you think not just about art, right? It can permeate all areas of life.
That's it for Condor's View this week. I've been your host, Tom Tobias. We'll see you next time.